surprising now to me that both Nova and Mafao actually rate SPT so significantly higher that they're going to actually expect him to win this. And already, Tetcher, this might be a good start for SPT. They chose Dragonshire, without a doubt, their most successful battleground ever.
And they also banned out Volskaya over towers. Interesting call here by SPT, taking the map that they have lost just over half their games on compared to the map that they have lost all of their games on. So a risky call by them.
Absolutely true, and you could see Muggle here looking very focused. This is his first grand final, if you will, in the playoffs. So coming out of nowhere into his first season of professional play and already being at the tippity top of the table is definitely a little nerve-wracking. So I can understand, you know, the players. Not this guy though. He's always chill. I think he's got nerves of steel. Very rarely do I see this guy even just agitated, slightly nervous. He's got the chills.
He's got it. He is chill and prepared, as Dragonshire will be our first map of the day in this grand final. Still a best of 5. Winner of this goes to the Eastern Clash in the first seed from HGC China.
Yeah.
Loser is, well, second seed, which is completely acceptable, but this is where it becomes a bigger deal, because the difference between first and second seed is quite a big deal, because first seed is probably going to play against a Blossom or a Miracle. Second seed is probably going to get a Ballistics or something like that.
Very true. And if you are entering the Eastern Clash as third or fourth seed of China, then the big boys from Korea are going to wait for you. The Tempests and the Genjis of the world. And that is always a mighty scary opponent to face. And I think for China as a region, a lot comes down to this series and both teams showing either signs of strength or weakness. I think if this series is a clutch 3-2, maybe with mistakes on both sides, drafting errors, and so on and so forth, then I think it's safe to say that we may very well expect a wonky result for China at the Eastern Clash. However, if TheOne, for example, or SPT for that matter, if they manage to steamroll their opponents here, showing clear signs of dominance, then I think we have at least one team from China to look forward to at the Eastern Clash.
I think you are correct, but now we're starting off the draft very quickly. Sergeant Hammer getting removed here. No one wants to deal with that Hammer double support bot lane or Hammer single support with heavy tank bot lane that just wrecks on this map. So we're going to start off with the Diablo for Hehe coming out from TheOne.
All right, Hehe already on a big, mean Diablo. Very tanky, very engage heavy. Could also, you know, really cater towards his playstyle of finding these openings, finding these deadly flanks. So I think it's safe to say that Hehe up to this point, not only looking like the strongest tank player in the region, but also the most lethal one in terms of, you know, finding an angle from the side, from behind, to really make those plays happen and wreck their opponents.
So with your Rel, Hanzo, they have great top lane pressure. And here's the immediate counter. Hugo brings out that Malthael. No hesitation. Wants to be able to lane against the Rel effectively, because this is one of the more isolated solo lanes in the game. And of course, we've seen just how much impact Hugo can have in team fights with this hero. So we need more CC from SPT in order to prevent that Malthael just absolutely shredding them.
All right. Looking pretty good on the side of SPT. They basically had to witness what an Irel can do to them themselves in that previous series against CE. This time they're taking it away from the enemy team, but TheOne counter-reacting very nicely here with that Malthael, right? Not only is it a Hugo special, one of the most lethal players in the league, but it also counters the Irel in lane quite well if the Malthael player stays on top of his game.
So we see the Deckard Cain getting banned out here. Interesting enough, as they already have Mafiorian on their side, just removing the second highest priority support. We already know that SPT do not have that much issue with this. They're completely fine with the Rhaegar or anyone else like that if they need to.
Yeah, what is left for them to pick right now? Raynor is available, as you said, Dragonshire. Pretty rotation-heavy map, so that could be a choice, but they're saving their secondary assassin all the way until the end, and instead go for Karazim, which is interesting, in my opinion, when there's other supports still available, like that Alexstrasza. But Alexstrasza, we've seen that multiple times now in the past, struggles against the counter healing provided by Malthael, right? So maybe going for the Karazim, which can in return deal a little bit of pressure onto the Malthael, and maybe even onto the Diablo with a 7-sided strike. That is a cool thing to do, because there's one thing... Oh, wait a minute. That Tracer Raynor pickup now, that is a lot of damage.
That's aggro. That is very aggro. The potential damage output here for the one is crazy. And with Muradin already on the board as a tank and Yrel as well, the actual ability to chase and lock down Tracer is a little bit more difficult. It's kind of up to Karazim at this point to try and keep that pressure on, and maybe you're able to chase down. So now we need a damage dealer who can either track or punish that Tracer, and that's going to be Tychus. The tracking part is chosen, and of course, the self-sustain with the double potential armor, triple potential armor to block that Tracer burst.
I am liking this draft by SPT, I'm not going to lie. And the main reason being, of course, the fact that the one is very predictable in a way that they very rarely play double tank. Hugo these days likes to stick to the Malthaels, the Thralls. He also plays a little bit of Leoric here and there, but for the most part, it's Malthael and Thrall. These are his go-tos, right? And that normally puts Hihi on that Diablo, or any other tank in that matter, into this position that he oftentimes ends up being separated from his team, making that engage. And during this short time window, we can see Tychus burn him down with a minigun, 7-sided strike on top of that. So if they manage to punish this aggressive behavior of Hihi that he's shown so many times in the past, I think SPT got this on lock.
I'm not going to agree with you for one very rare time this time, because I really think that Reyna kind of removes a lot of the value that the Tychus has and gives them a lot more fight control. I think the damage output from the one, this is a snowball comp, and I think this is a pretty decent map they're going to be able to snowball on. Right. I very much like the draft of the one.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you in this saying that the draft is not bad per se, but I really think that there's this opening, this one potential weakness that SPT could capitalize on. Still, there's a Tracer on the board, there's a Jimmy on the field, as you said, and these are mighty dangerous heroes. Let's see what the one can actually do with those heroes. We've got Hugo on the Malthael, Muggle is playing the Rainer, Meng on Tracer, Hihi on Diablo, and ZJ is rocking the Malfurion.
And on the other side, coming from the lower seed, it is SPT with Lucky on Hanzo, Melody C on Tychus, Misaka on Muradin, Soap on Yrel, and ZZH bringing out the Karazim.
Now, which kind of playstyle are we going to see from SPT? Are they going to take things slowly, trying to wait for maybe Yrel to overpower her lane, trying to maybe go for some kills themselves, or are they going to go full reckless mode, trying to actively shut down Hihi's maneuvers? The same can be said about the one. We haven't seen them play once at all today. They were the final boss that has had enough time to actually look at all the enemy teams, all the other teams, try to find weaknesses and openings. Now, can they show this dominant performance that we've seen all phase long? Look at Hugo.
Interesting. I like this. He's actually in range of XP here.
That is
a brave move. It's a question of who has more patience. Like it shows, Muradin rotates out, and Malthael wins the stare down.
Good job, Hugo. Remains calm, cool, and collected, and doesn't fall victim to these early ganks. And SPT, they're not done just yet. You know, Misaka and the Muradin still lurking in the shadows, but immediately the one, they smell the danger, and they retreat when it is time to do so.
Trade back and forth between Karazim and Tracer goes in favor of Tracer as she's able to get a good melee. Both players heal up very quickly, though.
That is correct. We see mercenary camps being taken by the one. SPT is only rotating now. They find a good angle onto Meng. The Malfurion is still relatively far away. Probably drops a regrowth onto Meng here. Yep, collects that one and goes back to laning duty. As SPT have now started to take their own siege tank camp. He being in the vicinity though, but there's no way they can invade this. They're still too far spread out. But they will have a quicker push, let's put it this way.
They will. It is a standard ace in the hole for the Reyna, by the way. In fact, almost all of the level 1 talents are standard. Only one you really see variety on is Malthael, who's gone for the Pale Horse for rotational abilities. Diablo Flip, as he has gone for the stun healing, as he's taking a lot of damage. But he wishes he had a stun right now, and he gets taken out.
Yeah, and those are the moments that I was talking about during the draft, right? The percentage damage, especially the minigun by Tychus. If the Diablo gets caught out of position like here, then it's going to be a ton of burst damage coming onto him. And within the rhythm, that is going to get only worse for now. And look at that first Dragon Knight immediately coming out for SPT, utilizing that time window they had without the main tank on the enemy team, dominating both lanes. Actually, Yrel holding her own against Malthael even, and Hugo. Yeah, that is the first objective, going over super quick.
Yeah. That shouldn't have happened. Jarrell should have won that top lane. Malthael should have been able to win that top lane. Counter kill onto the Karazim though, so nice little pick up there. But in the meantime, while they are doing this lovely kill, which is great for them, they're losing bot, they're losing mid lane. Dragonite takes down the entire front wall, and now it is rotating up to meet Hugo, who looks like he wants to maybe drop some pre-damage onto it.
Yeah.
So that it's going to run behind the towers here to snipe the fountain firstly, so now Hugo is going to have a much more difficult solo lane. This is the idea here. Yep. Ruin his day, going to use the wall and go through that to start burning down that tower.
Super well done by SPT. I'm glad you highlighted that one. Destroying the soul laner's fountain is a crucial point in securing your own soul laners a little bit of an advantage, right? So now, just in case Irel and Malthael go toe-to-toe and trade evenly here, the difference is Malthael, if he wants to heal, he's going to have to go all the way back to base, whereas Irel, you know, he just stays in lane, takes the fountain, and continues to soak. So ultimately, a very nice move by the Dragon Knight on the side of SPT. And already, though, they weren't idly. They weren't idle, you know. They continued to soak on all the lanes. They put up a little bit of pressure and keep the experience clean and close.
Misaka burns through the minions in this lane, hanging around for the moment. Hanzo sees this beginning of a camp attempt, but it's shut down due to the fact that Vision is there and they're afraid of a rotation.
Yeah.
It is Behemoth armor for Reyna, by the way. Once again, sticking with that extra tankiness and a touch of death coming in for Malthael. I like that.
Yeah, the anti-healing on Malthael is so useful when it comes to really messing with your opponent's plays, right? Against a Karazim, traditionally won't have the most of value, but if he ends up going Palm, or in the case of an emergency, even the self-healing gets affected by Muradin, it can really make a big difference.
Indeed, it can affect Tychus if he goes for the self-heal. It affects Muradin, as you've already said. It technically affects Yarel, as she has a lot of self-healing, and it absolutely affects her Argent Defender.
Oh yes, very true. You can really drastically reduce the self-healing provided by that Ardent Defender, and even if that one pops off, then Yarel could still be that target you want to focus on. By the way, Muggle applying his own, you know, unique touch to this Raynor build, goes for Fuel the Rush, so whenever Inspire is active, the Adrenaline Rush cooldown reduction from the basic attacks will be improved. So you're going to have your Adrenaline Rush available more frequently now instead of adding armor to it.
Makes sense. And of course, it does scale with the Behemoth armor, so this is just going to be as much healing as possible all the time. And with the Malthael in trouble, it's fine.
Absolutely true. He was in trouble there a little bit. And with all the slows provided, you know, by the heroes, like Diablo, most importantly, I don't think he needs to have the Unstable Compound here at level 7 to provide his own additional slow. Lightning Breath is going to be very likely the weapon of choice here for Hehe, so that alone should normally be enough. So let's see if that is going to work out as planned. Muradin trying to go for a flank here, gets shut down, and Hehe once again continues to be the target of focus.
He uses Misaka though as his escape route and then turns around. He's already healed basically back up to full. So he moves in. He's not full on souls yet, so he actually likes the fact that there are so many people down here, so his Firestorm can help him stack.
Yeah, very true. The Firestorm, very important when it comes to, you know, getting additional stacks, as Tetris said, with that level 4 talent. Now, level 10 will be here any second, but there's a major wave for Soap to still soak up. And he just maintains control over that shrine 24/7 against Hugo. Level 10 is here now. Lightning Breath as predicted. Hugo, what is he? He likes to hold this level 10, doesn't he? Depending on what situation he finds himself in the next team fight.
What he is going for makes sense. Armor on Tychus, armor on Yarel, armor on Muradin. Yeah. Anything that does percentage damage is going to get value on that. And of course, there are potential blocks for that last fight. Karazim could have picked Palm. Yarel can use Ardent Defender. It's going to get much less value with this damage over time.
Let's see. Melody sees just blasting his minigun onto Hehe, filling up those in the rhythm stacks. Speaking of the Diablo, though, we can see beautiful stacking now completed. 100 souls, which means Hehe has reached his maximum tanking capabilities and will respawn quickly if he ends up falling here. Hugo, by the way, with the support of Meng, harassing away the Yrel.
They find a Misaka. Currently no one in the bot lane, so this is not going to be an attempt for a cap yet for the one. Karazim still holding his heroic, very prepared to quick pick 7-sided if they find an isolated Diablo. But no, he immediately I get cast a curse and he locks into Palm.
Yeah, there we go. Divine Palm still seems to be the weapon of choice. It still is a mighty good tool against the Tracer Pulse Bomb, for example, against the slowly ticking damage against Malthael as well. You can really time it quite easily. So I'm still okay with this choice. I don't think it's bad per se.
See bot shrine taken by the one, but immediate reaction. Top is taken back. Karazim rotating up. Hugo is in trouble. So where's that Storm Bolt? There it is. Damage output's good. Hugo gets 1 Q, 2 Qs, 3. Doesn't need the third. He gets out of range. And that last second grenade from Tigers is not landing. And in exchange, it's time to take towers.
Yeah, that was an amazing survival here by Hugo, who was very well aware that something didn't seem quite right, because his teammates didn't see any of the other teammates in either of those lanes. So it looks like there's going to be a 4 trade happening. Top lane ends up going down for the one, and SPT is going to lose their bottom fort, it seems. Now, in terms of raw value and how you can basically line this up for the later stages of the game, this is a good trade for the one, right? The bottom lane will be easier to take for the Dragon Knight, easier to push with. We have Siege Giant pressure now as well in that lane. So I like the overall trade in favor of the one. However, Misaka, is he actually going to let this go uncontested? Or is he going to use his massive dwarven body to get in there? He says, get out of here.
Right. He's holding the point. Dragon Arrow is beautiful as the one. Getting turned on, but the lightning breath is good, putting huge pressure onto Misaka, and Raider burns him down. Palm is dropped, does not land. ZZH escapes over the wall though, but the one crushed this fight. The Banshee finally gets tethered, and they're unable to catch Soap as he has to back up, but that's still a 1 for 0, and the camp was stolen.
The camp was stolen, and it started to look very dangerous at the beginning, right? With a beautiful flame coming in from Soap on the Irel. However, then came a big Twilight Dream from CJZ, and all the healing by Raynor, all the self-healing, and of course the additional support coming in from Malfurion as well, made sure that Irel had to pull back. And during all this, Diablo not only raining down the lightning breath, but also maintaining good tankiness level. Just a beautiful turnaround by the one. Once again, Hugo also great damage in unison with Meng.
Like you said, and Muggle comboing with He as well. They just destroyed that Muradin as he was getting caught in that lightning breath, shredding through that ace in the hole. Speaking of Misaka, here he comes. Ice Block has to be used. Can they sneak him away? No, ZJZ goes down to Misaka.
Are they going to be able to get a return kill here on maybe ZZH? Meng arrived a little bit too late to the party. It was a 4 versus 5 for the most part, but here is Hugo now as well. They turn this around. Muggle in a lot of pain though.
Tormented Souls with the anti-heal. Palm is down, timing it through. Diablo is down. Hugo dives deep, looking for the snipe onto Melody C, but he can't get it. He's just going to try and take Soap instead. Ardent Defender, is it enough? Avenging Wrath, and they pick up Soap.
I think
it's ZZH as well. Oh my god, the greed. Oh my god, the greed. He gets it. He gets it. And Hugo, the cleave doesn't land. Beautiful dash. And ZZH, the god, he is out. And the counter kill on Melody C as well. That was gorgeous by SPT.
Absolutely. And look at those heroic ranged minions.
Chattel. They got it. But they're 3 heroes down. 2 heroes down, sorry. I can count.
Yeah, they can probably just buy a little bit of time. Maybe they should even focus the top lane now to bring some distance in between themselves and their opponents. But once again, like you said, the one, although they had a brilliant team fight in the beginning, they just got schooled by ZZH, our seasoned veteran on the support role by SPT, right? With those funky Karazim moves, dashing in and out to safety. Beautifully done. And to basically fool a legend like Hugo on that Malthael, it takes a lot of expertise and class to do that.
I like what Hugo did. He attempted to drop the cleaving attack to hit Karazim with it, but Karazim was at the perfect reverse angle, basically, to prevent that from happening. So it was a cool idea that was completely shut down by ZZH's superior positioning.
Yeah. It's not like Hugo played poorly here, right? I think every Malthael player probably would have done the same here, regardless of which region you play in. But it was just that ZZH just opened that window and he used it, and he made sure that nothing could be done to counterplay him. Minigun chunking down the Dragon Knight. Looks like he is not really brave enough to continue this slaughter and siege in the middle to take down this fort, but it's probably going to fall eventually. It was brought down very low in health.
Meng burning through minions as fast as possible. He has his Ricochet now, so of course he has a tiny bit of wave clear now, which is something Tracer did not have up to this point, so it's very helpful for the team.
And the bottom mercenary camp here, the bottom bruisers are going to be unlocked and unleashed for the one, providing a nice little counterweight to the ongoing Siege Giant push in the bottom lane. Wouldn't actually surprise me if the one continued to push a little bit with it, but Meng and Tracer already rotating towards Hugo. I think they were a little afraid of maybe, you know, a gank and invasion happening. And Hugo, he's going to spend some time here dealing with the red bruises. They reinforced by the medium wave already. So it's definitely a good job by him to keep those at bay. But they see Hugo in the top lane now, so this might be the opening for SPT to look for.
SPT moving forward, looking for the angle, like you said. Diablo does not want to give this up, though. Tracer is coming round from behind. Look for the angle. Here's the lightning breath. Twilight Dream is gorgeous. Meng picks 1, 2, make it 3 kills. No, make it 2 kills. It gets denied. Finally, 3 kills. ZZH pulls off another amazing escape, but that was a brutal fight by the one. Nice engage by Hehe into a gorgeous lightning breath with the great wraparound from Meng. Just mwah, perfection.
Absolute perfection here indeed by the one. And I love the nerves and the calmness, right, that Hehe especially on that Diablo had. Just imagine this go down in real life. Tychus staring into the eyes of Diablo, into the flaming breath of the lightning breath, just trying to unload his minigun. And that staring contest, you know, was definitely lost by Tychus this time around. We've seen it plentiful times in the past, right, where a Tychus was able to punish a Diablo when he was standing still with that lightning breath, but not really when the lightning breath is hitting you in the face, giving you a nice tan.
ZZH denying the Dragon Knight. Very nice there. 1v1ing Hehe, but now Hugo is here. He's going to see this channel up. Hugo actually stepping off the point. They could have maybe stuck a Dragon Knight if he hadn't stepped off there.
Yeah, I'm actually curious to see, like, Hehe was so brave, or has been brave so far the entire game, but here he pulled back, realizing, you know what, we're going to let this top lane push a little bit more. We're going to give Meng a little bit more time to play in the middle, expanding our experience gap even more. Hugo, though, already preparing for maybe a cheeky flank here. Gets scouted, though, by the Sonic Arrow of Hanzo. And look at Meng. You don't see a double pushing, 2-lane pushing Tracer all day, every day. But that's exactly what they're doing. They're trying to gear themselves up for the level 20. Here comes the jump over the wall. And Hugo is in a world of pain.
Dragon Arrow actually blocked by Hehe, who charges into the backline. That's a good save here as they turn around, looking for Misaka. Tormented Souls getting popped, moving forward, but it's more of a juggle of aggro here. They're not looking for a full fight. They're buying time while Tracer pushes top lane.
Tracer's pushing top lane, and she's getting some great damage done. And as you said, Tetcher, Hehe on that Diablo with the MVP move. I'm not sure if that was calculated or just coincidence, but either way, it was glorious. Intercepting the arrow, both. Exactly. Because otherwise, Hugo, with that Dragon Arrow connecting, would have been a goner for sure.
Meng, not even in the bush here, just hangs around the area. He's going to maybe try and stick a Dragon Knight. There's no way Misaka will let this happen. But there's the bot shrine. Moon Shrine is active. Actually, no, Misaka does let it happen. He's afraid of what might be hanging around here as the Dragon Knight is picked up by the one.
Yeah, and the level 20 was so close there as well. So even if Misaka was able to maybe stall it out for a few seconds, I don't think they could have really afforded, you know, a longer skirmish in the middle with that level 20 kicking in for the one. Speaking of kicking in, or kicking things here, this Dragon Knight is going to have a heyday, tearing down those towers as fast as possible. In the meantime, Hugo getting chunked down by Melody, sees Odin. The walls have been destroyed, and the Dragon Knight is going in, though.
Here comes the Fire Breath, forcing everyone back once again. This keep will certainly fall. It's a question of whether they can all survive to prevent the one trying to take the initiative and go for the core. The answer is yes. They do play a little bit safer. None of them get killed off. Odin was used for the defense here as they're forced to pull back.
Yep, and no level 20 for SPT, right? So that means no big red button. The Odin is now expired and goes on a massive cooldown there as well. Let's see how much value the one team is getting out of this final Dragon Knight duration. Meantime, Hugo's already soaking, trying to keep the lanes pressured against their opponents. Dragon's Arrow is ready, so if they realize, you know what, Hugo is not really with them, we can maybe force something, but 21 against 18 Tetcher. That is a large lead now for the one.
It is indeed, and in fact, they even quick pick None Can Stop Death coming in for Malthael. Wow. Just not even waiting for his death, they just go straight for it. As we see them burning through this minion wave, this mercenary camp, sorry, there's going to be bruises for the top lane, which, of course, Tracer opened up earlier.
Yeah, and a very interesting choice at level 20 here by Muggle on that Raynor. We do not see the Execute. We do not see Weak Spot acquired, but we see Duskwing, which is the upgraded Banshee. The Banshee is now going to be healthier. It's going to have a longer leash range, which allows Raynor to actually scout her from a larger distance. And when it dies, both Inspire and Adrenaline Rush, the Self-Heal, are activated for free on Raynor.
Which is pretty cool. So now that Banshee can play even more aggressively, as it is currently dead. So they are, in fact, going to pull back. as once again, Odin used for the clear and the defense, so the keep survives. This was the idea. He just judges the harassment coming in from the Odin there, which would have demounted him, but he would have been fine anyway. He was near enough to his team.
All right, so the Banshee now. Let's see what the pimped up version can actually bring to the table here. It's going to take a little bit more damage for SPT to bring it down in the first place, but even if they end up destroying it, as we said, there's going to be an immediate Inspire and adrenaline rush triggered for the Rainer. So if the case of an emergency in one of those team fights, that could make all the difference. For now, though, yep.
I'm waiting to see someone attempt to like suicide the Banshee into core just for the extra burst heal in a team fight. That's what I want to start seeing. But for now, we do see the Bruiser camp scouted. They realize it's not being done, but they do see the one hanging around the area because, well, the one knew it would probably be invaded. Instead, they move in and look to steal the Siege Giants, but Hanzo spots this as well.
Tetra, this might be a triple mercenary camp push in the bottom here in favor of the one. They try to go unlucky, or Hanzo in a world of trouble.
Diablo with the double flip gets pushed backwards. A lot of CC. In comes the lightning breath into the backline here. Good cleansing touch by ZZ8 here for the pressure. Misaka is getting bodied. Has to leap over the wall. Good palm onto Tychus, keeping him alive this time. Lucky over the wall, and SPT shuts down this push. But Diablo not done. Looks for Misaka, but can't get him. Meantime, bot is the core's dying.
The core is absolutely dying. That's actually the main objective that the one wanted to get there in the first place, right? They wanted to get this mercenary camp, and even if they weren't getting it, look at that. The map is wide open right now. Although Jimmy Muggle needs to be careful.
Tychus, hit the things that are hitting the core first. As we see the core go down to 57%. Misaka gets cleansing touch twice, 3 times, with the Quicksilver as well for the speed boost.
No
Misaka is out of there. Now it's up to Lucky, not so lucky. As he goes down, Misaka comes in just a zone here and is able to leap away. Down goes Hanzo.
In the meantime, Rainer is duking it out against the Urel, and it looks like a level 22 Rainer is pretty scary to face, especially with that Banshee at his side. He was able to outduel an Urel, which is something not many heroes can claim to be able to. For now, though, 44 seconds onto Lucky until Hanzo comes back to deliver that additional damage onto the Dragon Knight. The core, because of that heavy mercenary camp pressure, already brought down to 54. The shield is still recovering Tetra as well. This should be an easy core call for the one.
They're gonna try. They punt away the Odin, which is the main tool. Lightning Breath on the core. 50% on the core as they burn it down. In the meantime, Hugo is massacring everyone who dived past from SPT as game number 1 is taken by the one. GG indeed.
Wonderful game by the one. It's not like SPT played poorly or anything. They definitely had their moments of brilliance as well. But in the end, with clever mercenary timing, with beautiful tank performance by He, I think it was the one who showed us why they are the #1 in China for a reason right now.
Could not agree more. And as such, that is a 1-0 best of 5 reminder, ladies and gentlemen. So it's absolutely possible for SPT to bring this back. But this is what we've been seeing for basically the last 4 weeks of HGC China, and that is SPT looking like their usual selves, where they've looked really, really solid CE. They're still looking like one of the best teams, and because it's that isolated area of where you're seeing these teams play against each other, you're like, okay, these teams are really good. And then the one shows up. And when they say the one shows up, the one shows up. They're looking so good at the moment.
Absolutely true. I couldn't agree more. And I keep saying this every single week, right? We cast the one, but Muggle, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good man on that Rainer. I mean, not only did he go for his additional, like, unique flavor on that build, right? Replacing some of the talents that we're not used to seeing a whole lot, but he was able to put on the pressure. He survived countless assaults due to his self-healing and the level 7 choice, which gives him a lower cooldown on that. And he also just bullied the Urel all over the place. I think Muggle is my hottest candidate of the most accomplished ranged assassin player in the league that we have right now.
It's what I would potentially agree. He looks absolutely monumentally solid every single time. And it's nice. Remember, this is a player from a school team. This is very much similar to the players that we come up from Heroes of the Dorm in the North American region. They show up and suddenly you see them in HGC, which is fantastic. We love to see that grassroots esports style coming to bear into pro play. It's a good seeing that feeder system like the open divisions, for example.
And it's so cool to see that